I'm Adam. This is The Reset. Happy Mother's Day to all the women out there. I hope you have had a relaxing day today. For this episode, I would like to talk about my mother and tell a couple of stories about her that have had an impact on my life. As I mentioned in the last episode, my mother was a school teacher. May was the month we would have her back in our home for the summer. As I look back now, I realize that my mother was the architect of the very concept of a reset in my life. She taught me that life requires intentional pauses and high expectations. I remember those long, hot summers. We'd be outside running with friends, completely caught up in the noise and the heat of the day. But every afternoon, my mom would call us in for lunch, and then she would do something I can still feel today. She would close the drapes. The house would instantly become cool, dark, and still. We didn't always nap, but she insisted on the downtime. She knew that as children, we needed a calm down period, a way to step away from the world and find our center again. That was my first introduction to the reset. She was teaching me that you cannot run at full speed forever. You have to create a space for renewal. By closing those drapes, she wasn't just keeping out the sun, she was protecting our peace. But her nurturing wasn't always quiet. I remember in junior high, I decided to slough school with some of my friends. Well, we got caught by the truancy officer and ended up at the police station. When I finally got home, I went to my room waiting for my mom to come home. When she walked in the house, I knew immediately how upset she was with me. She actually took her purse and hit me over the head several times, crying out loud, "How could you do this to me?" I had my face in the pillow, and honestly, I was laughing, not because I was mocking her. It was just so uncharacteristic of her. It's taken me decades to understand the lesson that moment has taught me. She wasn't just upset that I broke a rule. She was grieving because she had an expectation of me that was far greater than the one I had for myself. She saw a much greater potential in me than I saw in myself. And she refused to let me settle for being less than who I was. That too is a reset, a hard course correction back to our best selves. The message I try to give every week about empathy, accountability, and finding a positive connection, those aren't my ideas. They came from my mom long, long ago. She taught me that a reset can be as gentle as a cool, dark room or as sharp as a verse to the head, but it's always rooted in love and a belief that we can be better. Until next time, what's your reset?